In the brutal logic of geopolitics, the decline of a massive rival is usually cause for celebration. A weakening neighbor traditionally signals an opportunity for easy expansion and a safer border. For centuries, the Ottoman Empire was a superpower, bridging two continents with a strategic port in Istanbul, seen here in the late 19th century. By this point, however, that once dominant strength was visibly fading. Yet the major powers of Europe watched this decline with deep anxiety rather than triumphs. The prospect of the empire's total collapse triggered panic in capitals from London to Vienna. This era gave birth to a specific historical label, the sick man of Europe. This 1860 cartoon provides documentary proof of that perspective, showing Turkey as a vulnerable patient being attended to by foreign doctors. The fear was rooted in the nature of power. A state this large doesn't vanish quietly. It leaves behind a massive, volatile vacuum. The sudden availability of these vast Ottoman territories threatened to destabilize the entire European continent. If the empire fell too quickly, the race to claim its pieces could drag every neighboring power into a catastrophic war. To see how that vacuum began to open, we look to the Balkans. This photograph captures the friction of the era, showing a minaret, the symbol of Ottoman influence, standing directly beside local European architecture in a contested town. As the central grip of the Ottoman government weakened, the diverse populations living within these borders recognized an immediate opportunity to challenge imperial rule. This weakening led to the eruption of fierce nationalist movements. Groups that had lived under Ottoman administration for centuries began to organize around their own distinct cultural and ethnic identities. These new nationalist movements prioritized immediate physical mobilization. As seen in this image of armed soldiers marching through a town, local populations were training and arming themselves to secure complete independence from the empire. The internal decay of the state catalyzed a wave of self-determination, turning the Balkan region into a zone of constant, violent upheaval. While these rebellions fractured the empire from within, rival European empires gathered on the borders, monitoring the Ottoman collapse with predatory interest. The vulnerability of the sick man invited immediate land grabs from its neighbors, who were eager to capitalize on the empire's inability to defend its fringes. Formidable external powers, represented by highly decorated monarchs like the one pictured here, began to compete ruthlessly for control over these fading territories. Their goal was to expand their own borders and wealth at the direct expense of the dying Ottoman state, ensuring that no rival power gained an unfair advantage in the region. The geopolitical squeeze was occurring from two directions at once. These outward-pushing arrows represent internal nationalist uprisings tearing the empire apart. Simultaneously, heavy inward-pushing arrows represent rival powers claiming whatever territory the central Ottoman government could no longer hold. This simultaneous rush to fill the vacuum didn't just dismantle Ottoman authority, it forced heavily armed European rivals into direct, dangerous friction over the remaining scraps of land. The Ottoman Empire was ultimately dismantled by these two converging forces, local nationalism pushing out and European imperial competition pushing in. The decline of the sick man serves as a historical case study in how the collapse of a central authority can provide a blueprint for nationalism that spreads far beyond the original conflict. The success of the Balkan uprisings inspired other marginalized groups across the continent to demand their own independence, threatening the stability of every multi-ethnic empire in Europe. By the end of this process, the borders of the continent were redrawn, and the global balance of power had shifted permanently. The fall of the Ottoman Empire illustrates a harsh geopolitical rule. The death of a superpower triggers a chain reaction of instability that redrafts the map through force.
क्या आपने कभी महसूस किया है कि जैसे जैसे हम समझदार होते जाते हैं, हमारी मुस्कान थोड़ी कम हो जाती है। बचपन में छोटी छोटी चीजों में खुशी मिलती थी, एक खिलौना, एक छुट्टी या बस दोस्तों के साथ हंसी मजाक। लेकिन आज सब कुछ होने के बाद भी एक अजीब सी कमी महसूस होती है। तो सवाल ये है, क्या ज्यादा समझदारी सच में हमारी खुशी छीन लेती है? दरअसल समझदारी हमें सच दिखाती है, वो सच्चाई जो कभी कभी बहुत भारी होती है। हम रिश्तों की असलियत समझने लगते हैं, लोगों के इरादे पहचानने लगते हैं और जिंदगी की अनिश्चितताओं को गहराई से महसूस करने लगते हैं। जहां पहले हम बस जीते थे, अब हम हर चीज को समझने और परखने लगते हैं। और यही जगह है जहां खुशी थोड़ी पीछे छूट जाती है, क्योंकि खुशी अक्सर सरलता में होती है और समझदारी जटिलता लेकर आती है। लेकिन इसका मतलब यह नहीं कि समझदार होना गलत है। असल समस्या समझदारी नहीं, बल्कि उसका इस्तेमाल है। जब हम हर चीज को जरूरत से ज्यादा सोचने लगते हैं, हर बात में मतलब ढूंढने लगते हैं, हर रिश्ते को तौलने लगते हैं, तब हम खुद ही अपनी खुशी को सीमित कर देते हैं। कभी कभी खुश रहने के लिए थोड़ा कम समझदार बनना पड़ता है। मतलब ये नहीं कि हम बेवकूफ बन जाएं, बल्कि ये कि हम हर चीज को दिल से महसूस करना सीखें, बिना ज्यादा विश्लेषण किए। खुश रहने वाले लोग जरूरी नहीं कि कम समझदार होते हैं, वे बस ये जानते हैं कि कब सोचना है और कब बस जीना है। समझदारी आपको दुनिया को समझने में मदद करती है, लेकिन खुशी आपको जिंदगी जीने का असली मतलब सिखाती है। तो शायद सही सवाल ये नहीं है कि समझदार बनना या खुश रहना, बल्कि ये है कि हम दोनों के बीच संतुलन कैसे बनाएं। क्योंकि असली समझदारी यही है, जहां जरूरत हो वहां सोचें और जहां मौका मिले वहां दिल खोल कर मुस्कुराएं। याद रखिए, जिंदगी को पूरी तरह समझ पाना शायद संभव नहीं है, लेकिन उसे पूरी तरह जीना हमारे हाथ में है।